Hello everyone, Voodoo here, and I am here today in lieu of the raid testing videos I was going to have up because they canceled raid testing because it didn't work. The entire servers were down. They were fully bricked. I'm here today with some early sims, as well as a little bit of like tier set testing and feedback and stuff like that. Plan is over the weekend to have the rest of the raid testing videos that actually happen from Friday. But for now, we're going to talk about kind of like gains in tier set from here to now. Not from here to now, from this season to next season, as well as just a little bit of feedback I have and some gameplay stuff. Because last time I did the tier set video, we didn't have Sims. I didn't even have the PTR yet. So there's a little bit of testing that has been done. We'll show you guys what happened and some thoughts and some very early Sims. Early. So with that, like, comment, subscribe. We are pushing for 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And with just get on to it, I guess. Okay, so we are here in game, and I do have to go a little quick because the servers are going to shut down in 8 minutes. So we have a time crunch here. So we're going to start with Eldrazi Reaver first, sorry, because the tier set doesn't really change anything. I don't really have a ton of feedback or anything cool to show you. If we look at it, basically all it does increases glaive damage and the whole mark stuff. So far how this changes rotation is very minimal. In Mythic Plus, I won't change it at all. In single target, you want to always blade dance second now instead of not caring, which is like a lot easier to do anyways. So who really cares? That doesn't really change much how we were playing. So realistically, like not much change. But if you're wondering, pretty much what happens here is that the Reaver's Marks thing isn't that big of a deal. It's like what, 6% extra damage for 20 seconds. Versus the doubled Fury Eldrazi thing, which is like a crazy amount increase, right? With you get the 30% and then you just double it, which is a lot of damage. But realistically, like, doesn't really change much. I think that's kind of my feedback for it. It's a little boring, honestly. Like, it doesn't really change how we play at all. If you're doubling Blade Slash, I think you should double Reaver's Mark, make it go to 4. I don't know if that's good or bad or what, but make it a little more balanced there, a little more equal, and like it doesn't really change much. There's a bug with it. It doesn't work on Demon's Bite, but no one's playing that anyways, so who cares? So that's AR. Nothing really to write home there. Nothing crazy. So for Felskard, this is the build. We'll cover it in Sims because I don't have much time on the server. The big thing with this tier, so 2-piece Immolation Aura deals 30% increased damage and increases Chaos Strike damage by while active. Which I think I'm mostly fine with. We'll see how that ends up being played. Right now, it's not really a maintenance buff, like it kind of is, but not really, so I think it's fine. And it does push us into cool, interesting new talents, which I love. I love when their builds are different for each tree. As you can see here, this is a very different build from last tier and from Eldrazi Reaver, which is sick. My problems mostly lie in the 4-piece. So entering Demon form now immediately causes a Demon Surge and shatters a Demon Soul fragment that grants 20% increased damage done for 10 seconds. So what this does, basically, if anyone played in Shadowlands or in the first half of Dragonflight, it basically is Fought of the Flame returned. So what I'm talking about is we go up here, just get a little bit of Fury to I-Beam, and I-Beam, I'm going to Demon Surge and then immediately spawn a Soul. I can collect that Soul and it'll give me 10 seconds of 20% damage increase, which is, you know, a sizable amount. Now the problem with it is that it's a Soul that spawn. I got PI'd from somewhere. It's a Soul that spawns on the ground, so it spawns off in the distance. If I meta, we can see that the Soul spawns, goes down over here, and just kind of sits on the ground. Big problem with this, if I move away from it, I actually don't pick it up. So if you, for some reason, can't see where your Soul spawns, either due to tons of mechanics in raid, ton of like graphics on the ground, it'll just go like away. Other big issue, I-Beams in meta, don't do it again. So I picked up my Soul. It's gone. There's no additional Demon Surge. There's no additional Soul Fragment. It only counts off of I-Beams that aren't already in meta. So this pushes away from Shadow Destiny even more than before. And that's not the only weird part. So there's a bit of a delay on the actual Soul spawn. So as well as the fact that you can lose it easily because it can just spawn on the ground in, I don't know, like junk, or it can spawn on the ground and you can't see it, there's a delay to it. So what happens here, and I might try and slow this down, I'm unsure, but you're going to I-Beam, and then roughly a GCD later, or enter meta, roughly at the end of that GCD, you'll Demon Surge. Then as soon as the Demon Surge happens, the Soul spawn animation will start, which itself has roughly 0.9 seconds of a delay. So in totality, you have to end up waiting roughly 2 GCDs, depending on your GCD duration. So for me, I have 14% haste right now. Yeah, just in general. On this character, and it's roughly 1.8 seconds, which is 2 GCDs, but I'll show you what I mean. So we'll channel I-Beam, Demon Surge happens, then the Soul goes out, and it takes roughly the same amount of time as the I-Beam channel, which for me is 1.6 seconds right now, but I do have this haste. We'll click that off. 1.7 seconds. Boom. Now, the first part is hasted, the actual amount to generate the soul. The second part is not. So while you can spawn the soul quicker and get your demon surge faster if you have more haste, you will not actually like decrease the time from the soul spawning to the soul being pickable, uppable. So again, I'm just going to I-beam. We'll do it away from the boss here. So I-beam, half a GCD, another half GCD. So there is a bit of delay there in actually getting the soul. Now the funny part about meta is that, I didn't even know this, but the demon surge doesn't start until you land with meta. So this doesn't really matter in terms of everything, but it can delay things more if you have a wonky eventual retreat. But basically, if I meta from over here, we'll just try and go like maximum range here. You can see that the demon surge will start glowing on my character as I fly, but it won't actually trigger until I land, and then a GCD later, I'll be able to pick up my soul. So we'll just jump over, boom, trigger, land, and there's my soul, and I can just pick it up. Now again, sometimes the soul will spawn further, sometimes the soul will spawn somewhere you can't see it, yada, yada, yada. And then of course, if I I-beam, I do not get more demon souls, I do not get another extra free demon surge. So I think there's a lot of downside to this tier set. I think the tier set's still interesting though. I think it's more interesting than ARs. I would rather it just gave you a buff instead of the soul stuff. Souls are pretty like wonky in general. Havoc's dealt with them for a while. We don't really like them, especially because like there are cases, rare cases, where this soul won't be gettable, or even worse, if we try and game it where okay, we'll hold on to the soul now until our next I-beam, because that's something you can do, which is very wonky because the souls actually last on the ground for a while, and Valskar doesn't actually have the ability to suck them up. So soul's still over there. Okay, we're waiting for it. It's like, oh, I can go collect it now, and now I have this buff for my I-beam and everything else, and I can just collect this other one next time. There is a chance that's something that could happen just due to how the soul works, because you can never buff I-beam with it. Specifically in like Mythic Plus, you could maybe do that, but that's just like a bit of a weird niche case. No idea if that will actually happen. Also, holy shit, this trinket seems crazy, but it's something to definitely keep an eye on in terms of gameplay. So I think the idea here is good. I think gameplay could be a bit better with actually just giving us a buff instead of a soul. That way you don't have to do all of the weird timing stuff, and then just make the buff apply before the demon surge. And I think it'll be like a pretty perfect tier set in my opinion. And we now have 30 seconds left on our timer here. So let's go to look at some sims. All right, so here we are on sims. This is current tier with my character currently. I am missing the neck basically, and that's pretty much it. So I'm missing like 15k from that. And my belt is not fully upgraded because it can't be fully upgraded yet because of when I'm posting this video. So pretty much this is our bis sim, so to speak. More or less like, I don't know, like 15k maybe you can get here or there from those extra things. But realistically, this is the bis sim for Eldrazi Reaver. And if we compare this to Oppenheimer, which is Eldrazi Reaver, I thought it was a different name, but this is the inertia version, which again is slightly better, but doesn't really matter. Hello, can I close this? Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened there, but look at this gear here. It is basically the exact same like gear as our bis set, ignoring the dog tags, obviously. But we just have the new tier at 684 eye level. So open HTML, go down to gear. I will show you that it is 684 eye level. So there's no eye level gains in these sims. This is purely swapping tier set to tier set. What we see here is we see a 300,000 gain for Eldrazi Reaver, which is actually pretty good. That's a pretty nice tier set. Just going from our old tier set to our new tier set, gaining 300,000 DPS. If I was a good YouTuber, I would have looked up how much that was beforehand, but we are going to run a calculator really quick and dirty right now to give you guys a number. So roughly, I think like a 9% increase, something like that, roughly, which is pretty good, going from old tier piece to new tier piece with no eye level upgrades. So right now that's telling me that no matter what happens, as soon as you get your tier set, you are going to be looking to upgrade it, which is great, because last season we didn't have that, and we got new tier that was not equipable until like a late heroic eye level or early mythic eye level, which is absolutely fucking horrible. It's a horrible feeling. So near tier set, gaining that is great, and of course any eye level above where you're at is going to be even more of a gain. So it seems 4-piece to 4-piece for Oppenheimer right now for Eldrazi Reaver is roughly 9%. Again, that was some pretty quick and dirty math. And again, I like the rotation doesn't change. We haven't really done much. You're just going to pretty much always Annihilation first, and that's basically it, right? Like nothing else has really changed here. at all. I think, well, this is Annihilation first, but there's going to be a little bit of APL that has to be worked on, but this one shouldn't change that much, and this should be pretty set in stone. Looking at damage breakdown, we can see that Soul Scar, Wounded Quarry, I-Beam, Chaos Strike, stuff like that, Annihilation, Death Sweep. Looking at this one, we see all of our physical damage is much higher. Art of the Glaive significantly higher, which is really cool to see. Reaver's Glaive at 5%. Right over here, we have Reaver's Glaive at 3.4, Art of the Glaive at 2.8. So that's a pretty huge gain right there. Wounded Quarry up at 8.6% damage from 6%, which is a huge gain, again, because of all the extra physical damage you're doing. And then finally, Soul Scar at roughly 12% to roughly 15%, which is pretty nice there. For some reason, Death Sweep damage goes down by a significant amount. Sorry, not by significant amount, by like, I guess like variance maybe. I don't really know. That's Sims for you. But yeah, super cool that we're seeing that happening. Now for Felsguard, we have a different story. Well, not a different story, but a similar story, I guess, actually. So this is me with my Felsguard kit. Again, don't really worry about like the number. This is just comparison's sake. So 3.093 going up to 3.421, which is a pretty big jump. Now, again, if I was a good YouTuber, I would have done this earlier. But I'm going to do it right now really quickly to get you guys a number. I did the math. 1 second. I put it wrong into my calculator. So this is going to be roughly a 10% gain. So it seems, which would make sense. 300,000 the other one, 400,000 this one, 10% gain. Now, this one here will have some APL work done on it. This talent tree is significantly different. And I think it's actually really sick. So we've dropped all of Chaotic Disposition. We've dropped, I think Shadow Destiny was played before. I can check real quick. Shadow Destiny was played. So we dropped that. We dropped Chaos Theory. Those are like Blind Fury and stuff. And we've come down and actually picked up all of the Immolation Aura talents because of the tier set, right? We play Flamebound now, Growing Inferno, Burning Wound, Rage Fire, and Fire Inside. Because we use Immolation Aura so much, it is now 16% of your damage, which is actually kind of insane. So the tier set actually accounts for a huge chunk of damage because it buffs all of these top 4 abilities as well as Demon Surge, and then you get the buff. Which seems to roughly have a 45% uptime, which is not bad. Roughly equivalent to Metamorphosis. Again, there's going to be a slight gap there because of the fact that you can't trigger it from while you're already in meta. So comparing to this one, Annihilation, Burning Blades, and then we have like Death Sweep and stuff. Nah, not in this one. Demon Surge, Immolation Aura, which 4% of is Rage Fire. So really kind of cool stuff there that Immolation Aura is doing so much damage. And the big thing with this build here is that it actually gained a lot of cleave, which is really cool because in this other build, this build has like no cleave to speak of, right? Like you're just doing single target damage. Your Blade Dance doesn't really do much because you don't have the glaive stuff. You're really not doing a lot there. And it's frozen again. Oh, there we go. So really cool gains here in my opinion. Rotation does need to be worked on. I am curious to see if double Death Sweep is still better because I believe the value of Annihilation with Immolation Aura up, I think 2 Annihilations is probably better than 1 Death Sweep, but I'll have to check on that, of course. And then of course we have like some interesting Immolation Aura usage that'll happen down here where maybe it's worth it to pair it with Essence Break because we see it drops right beforehand. So there's going to be some APL work done on this one. This will need it. Maybe some soul optimization as well. Again, we'll have to see. But interesting stuff here. And of course, there's no new stats or anything like that. Dude, my thing is like really freezing. But, you know, as we gain more stats, more gear, things could change again. But right now, tier set to tier set, they're both looking pretty strong. Roughly 9% for Eldrachi, 10% for Felsguard in terms of single target. They're both kind of really strong in AoE. I don't have AoE sims, but they're pretty turbo bonkers, really, if you ask me. Yeah. So that is going to be the video today. I will link these sims for those who want to take a look at them. You can get the profiles there if you want to do your own stuff. We will have gear sims later. I need to get a gear list or make one for the new season still, just because like we literally just got PTR. I think this is the second week of PTR. No Havoc updates yet. Not even a Vengeance one technically, although there was a data mine change, but yeah, you get the drift. So yeah, that's the video. Let me know what you think. Both are within 1% of each other right now, 1 or 2%, which is super sick. Again, I do think Prometheus, the Felsguard build, will have some gains. Although I really thought Oppenheimer was Felsguard, but I don't remember anymore, so I'm gonna drop that. There will be gains from Prometheus. We'll see if it ends up being the best one. I think for me, perfectly in an ideal world, they're balanced in the way where we play both in Raid and both in Mythic Plus, which we're very, very close to. We're so close to it. If we just buff Felsguard and single target a little bit, it'll be the play on single target and low cleave, while Drawtri Reaver's the play on like bigger cleave or like downtime fights. So there's a world where we play both in both content, and we are so close to that, and I really hope they can get us there, because it would be sick to do that for them to achieve spec balance like that. But yeah, so for now, that is the video. Let me know what you think down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Doing that helps spread the video to more people, as well as just grows the channel. Again, 15,000 by the end of the year. And with that, I will let all you wonderful people go. Enjoy your Friday. I'll be live in 2 hours by the time this video goes out doing raid testing. And then those videos will be up over the weekend and into Monday. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to everyone watching my videos, but especially to my channel members. Thank you, Alexander Trifunovic, Rukaza, Fear Redefined, Loose Change, Jorge Polanco, Matthew Barr, Zuligan, Chocobo Merc, Gabriel Correa, Matchman 133, and Falafadar Dark Terror. Thank you so much to everybody. If you want to join and support me in making videos, consider following the link below. I will be adding more perks to this over the summer as I get more time, including log review, which isn't available right now. But again, I do appreciate everybody just supporting me and watching the videos. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.